So you're thinking about buying that property here in Myrtle Beach, but you live 600 miles away. How am I going to do this? Do I need an attorney? Do I need a lender? How am I going to get inspections done? Do I have to come down to closing? Those are all questions I get on a regular basis. And today we're going to take a few minutes and kind of discuss what it's like buying a house here in Myrtle Beach while living in another state. Hey guys, I'm Jeremy Blanton with RE/MAX Southern Shores, and today we're going to discuss buying a home in Myrtle Beach in 2022 and what to expect when you live in another state. You know, most of the people who are moving to our area are not here local. They're coming from other parts of the country. They're coming from New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio, all these places in the Northeast. And we're also getting a lot of people now coming from Arizona, from California, and Washington. They're moving to our area because they want to enjoy the amazing weather that Myrtle Beach has to offer. They love the fact that we have a low cost of living and that there's so many things to do here, which is why so many people want to move to Myrtle Beach. So I figured it would be good to take a couple minutes today and discuss some of the things that you need to know when buying a home here in Myrtle Beach while not being from this area. So the first question that I wanted to discuss is, how long is it going to take to close on my home? You know, a lot of people have to sell a home in another state or another part of the country in order to buy here in Myrtle Beach. And they're getting their house on the market, getting a contract on it, and then calling me and saying, hey Jeremy, my house is under contract. I'm ready to make the move to Myrtle Beach. We're closing here in 3 weeks' time and we're so excited to come buy our house. We'll be down next week. And I explained to them that you're going to need a little bit of time in order to close here in Myrtle Beach. Our average time here in our area right now is right around the 45-day mark. Now you may say that's an awful long time. Why is that? Well, the lenders, the appraisers, the attorneys, the inspectors, they're all so backed up because there's so much business happening in our area right now that we need that extra 2 to 3 weeks over other parts of the country. So we need to expect for a closing date to have about a 45-day window out from the time that we go under contract. That way things are able to be done. Now you may be saying, well, what do I do when I sell my house? Where am I going to live? Am I going to be homeless? What's going to happen? And there's a couple options that I'll share with you. The first one is, when you're selling your house, one of the things that you can do is ask for a longer closing date. Instead of closing in that 30-day window or 2 weeks time, because, hey, it's an all-cash offer, they're closing in 3 weeks, this is amazing. You as the seller are in control. You can tell them, I need a 60-day closing. Or you can say, I need a little bit longer. Or another thing that people are doing is they're doing a lease back. They're closing on their home, having their money in their pocket, and then renting the home back from the new owners for 30 to 60 days after the fact. Most lenders are going to allow you to do this type of lease back when somebody's buying a property for up to a 90-day period. So when we add in the typical closing time of 2 to 3 weeks, maybe in New Jersey, plus the 60 to 90 days, you have more than enough time. So just remember, 45 days and we're good to go. The second question that I get asked is, well, Jeremy, I live 500 miles away. Do I need to be there for closing? It's too complicated and too hard for me to take off and get down there for closing. And the simple answer is, no, you don't. Here in South Carolina, you can have the package sent to you via FedEx. It'll come right to your front door. You take the package with all the necessary documents, go sit in front of a notary and have them sign and witness your signatures, then take that whole package, put it back in the mail, and it comes back. We're closing a day or two later, but it's not a big deal. It's gonna cost you maybe 25 to 30 bucks for the shipping, and it's gonna save you though having to take off work, get in a car, come down here or fly down to South Carolina just to close on that property. Especially if you're buying something as an investment, you may not need to be moving into it, so why do you want to take off all that time just to come down to sign some documents? You can do it via FedEx. It's quick, it's easy, it's simple, and you get the same result at the end of the day. The third question that I get asked a lot is, well, Jeremy, how am I going to be there to meet with a home inspector? I have to get a home inspection done with this house. I need to know what's wrong with it. And you're right. You definitely want to have a home inspection done. It's one of the number one things that I always suggest to my clients is get a home inspection done, know what might be wrong so that you know what you're getting into when making this purchase. But are you going to be able to take time off of work, come down here for that home inspection? More than likely not, especially when it may be that we have a real short window of a week's time and you can't get off of work that quick. So what do? A lot of the home inspectors here in town are going to be able to get the inspection scheduled with the sellers and go out and do the report, and you don't have to be here. In fact, if you talk to them, they're actually going to say they prefer not to have people there so that they can focus in on the job. If we're there talking to them, asking questions, there might be a possibility that something gets overlooked or forgotten because you've distracted them asking a question about a light switch that they've already checked out. So what they suggest instead is let them go do it, and when they're done, they normally email you the report the same day or the next day, and then they can call you and go over it in person. We as agents, we're used to seeing these reports. Some of them might be 30 pages, 40. Heck, I saw one recently that was 136 pages. That house was in pretty rough shape, but we as agents are used to looking at them. We're familiar with them, and we can look through the summary sheets and tell you what we need to be asking to have fixed so that we can get you a good house, get you everything taken care of so that when you buy it, you know you have a good, secure property to start with. The fourth question that I get asked is, do I need to hire an attorney? My state doesn't use attorneys. Well, here in South Carolina, we are an attorney closing state. Now, that does not mean that the attorney is going to write the contracts for you. We use state forms that are created by the South Carolina realtors that are standard across the entire state. These forms all realtors are used to and are familiar with all the terms and questions that go through it. So our job as the realtor is to write that offer for you. What we do is we do all the negotiations between the agents. We work on your behalf as the buyer. The seller agent works on behalf of their sellers, and we do everything in it and negotiate all the parts and pieces out. That means things like purchase price, earnest money, closing date, financing terms, whatever it may be. We get all that stuff kind of figured out and handled. Once everything is agreed upon between the buyer and the seller, we're going to then take that contract and we're going to email it over to the attorney. The attorney will then open your file and they will begin the process. They're not going to necessarily give legal advice as to things going on. If we have a problem, they're there to help us with it and definitely at that point give advice. But their main job as the closing attorney is to make sure, number one, that your title is done and that you have a clear and marketable title on the property you're buying. Their other big job is to work with the lender to make sure all the documents are done, that are prepared properly, that you sign everything that needs to be done, and everything gets processed through. If there's a home warranty order, they're going to make sure that's done, and their job is to collect the monies from the different parties and then get it dispersed out to who it needs to go. So the attorneys are vital here in South Carolina, and they're going to help us through the process. Now, you may say, well, Jeremy, I don't have a South Carolina attorney. What am I going to do? Don't worry. Here in our area, there are tons of them, and I have a great resource manual of different people to pick from that are great to work with. These are attorneys that all they do is real estate, so they're familiar with things, and they could literally do your closing while asleep. They're so familiar with our South Carolina contracts, with the lenders and the way things are done, that they're going to be able to help us from beginning to end and make sure that everything gets done properly and in order so that at the end of the day, you can move into that new home. And the final thing that I wanted to share today, this is kind of more a tip of what you need to know for buying a house, especially here in 2022, but it's a vital part and a vital component to buying a home here when living out of state. And that is make sure you have your finances in order. Whether that's if you're buying a cash home, we need to have what's called a proof of funds letter. That's not taking a screenshot of your bank account and sending it to me. That's great to show it to me, but that doesn't work. Instead, what I need, if you're buying a house with cash, I need a letter from your financial institution stating that John Doe has $350,000 in liquid assets that we can use in order to purchase this home. If you're not doing cash, then we need to talk to a lender. We need to get a pre-qualification or a pre-approval letter in place stating that when we go to look at that home, John Doe is ready to buy that house and he can afford that $350,000 home. Because in today's market, which is extremely strong, sellers are going to require one of those. And when we're in situations where there might be a multiple offer situation, we need to have that pre-approval to send in with our offer to show we're qualified, we're good to go. And also, a lot depends on the lender that you choose. If you're using one of those online shops like Quicken Loans, or Rocket Mortgage for your pre-qualification letter, those letters are not going to weigh as heavy with a local listing agent as someone who has a pre-approval from one of our local lenders in town that they can pick up the phone, call, and say, hey, I'm working with Jeremy Blanton on a deal right now. He has John Doe that it says is pre-qualified to buy this home for $350. Is that legit? And they can answer those questions. The listing agents can then reach out to that person throughout the entire process to get updates. And when they can have that opportunity available to them versus having to go through some 1-800 number, it's definitely going to give you a big advantage. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video today on buying a home while living out of state. If you're thinking about making the move to the area, my contact information is down below. Feel free to shoot me an email, shoot me a text, or whatever. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, get that bell on, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.